Hey, you know which system had an awesome controller? No. 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 What? Well, okay, yes. There we go. That was an awesome controller. You just stick it in your hands and it just melts. The stick is accurate and has those little nubbins. The button layout is unique and still incredibly useful. And most potently, it had these triggers that you could both soft pull and click down. Why don't more triggers do that? You could do so much cool stuff with that. Well, the Steam controller can't exactly help you if it's a large A button you want, but if you miss the days of those clicky triggers, this controller is amazing. And it works with Dolphin, the magical GameCube and Wii game upreser that makes you feel better about building a hunky new system even if you only want to play old games on it. So let's set it up. Installing Dolphin is as simple as going to the download page, link in description, hitting download for the OS of your choice, and double-clicking the application. Let it install. Add it to Steam like we mentioned in the last episode. Add a game, add non-Steam game, browse, double-click Dolphin. To set your controller up for GameCube games, we're mostly going to stick to the Xbox controller layout, but with one exception. Yep, set requires click to off. Well, okay, if you follow me regularly, you should just know to do that as a rule. Now, go to your triggers. Set soft pull action to left trigger and set full pull action to 1. This will allow us to tell Dolphin the difference between a soft pull and a hard pull, which will help us when it comes to play stuff like Super Mario Sunshine. Head into the right trigger and do the same thing. Set soft pull to right trigger and full pull to 2. Once you've done that, start up Dolphin through Steam. We're not quite ready to play games yet. Make sure your Steam controller is on. Start up Dolphin and, with your mouse, click on the Controllers tab. Under Port 1, select Standard Controller, then Configure. Under Device, select the option that says X Input and map all the buttons as you typically would an Xbox pad, but with one exception. For L and R, select 1 and 2 on your keyboard respectively. You will have to right-click the button to do this, change the device, and manually select the key. Save this as a profile if you really want, then hit OK. Also, don't forget, for control sticks, X- means left and Y- means down. You're going to want to know this if you want to bind this thing for other emulators down the line, so write it down. You're now ready to play GameCube games and some Wii games on your Steam controller. Again, I'm not telling you where to get games, though if you have a decent disk drive, you can probably just rip them to your hard drive. Now for something really cool, if you think your PC is up to the task. Hit the Graphics tab, check Use Full Screen Resolution, and make sure it's 1080p, or whatever your own personal internal resolution is. Then go to Enhancements and change the internal resolution to something higher than your native resolution. I went with 4x native for a light super sampling effect. Also, crank anisotropic filtering all the way up to max. Now, you're playing your old games in fabulous high definition. Heck, if you think your system's up to the task, you can even give 4K a try. And hot damn, some of these games do really hold up graphically with a resolution facelift. Seriously, Metroid Prime and Project M look so good upscaled that it's almost unfair. But that's a little simple, right? Did you want something more challenging? Another big showcase of something the Steam controller can do that no other controller can? Well, fear not. We can play Wii games with motion controls too, and I'm going to show you how. In Steam, bind your controller to an Xbox pad again. This time, head into Gyro, bind it to mouse, and crank the sensitivity and haptics up. Bind the two paddles to random keys on your keyboard, left control and left shift do the job for me. In Dolphin, go to Emulated Wii Remote, bind A to A, bind B to the right trigger, set 1 and 2 to the shoulder buttons, and now for the cool part. Bind IR to your cursor the same way you'd bind the left stick, only instead of the gamepad stick, head down and select Cursor. This way, the game will think your mouse is the Wii Remote pointer. You can also bind Shake to a button, instead of having to shake your entire controller like a madman. X works for me. Under Extension, select Nunchuck, then hit Configure. Bind the stick to the left stick as you normally would, then bind C and Z to whatever keyboard keys you bound the paddles to. This won't work for every Wii game, but for most it does the job quite well. Super Mario Galaxy, Metroid Prime 3, and Xenoblade all work really well this way. Although for some games like Wii Sports or WarioWare, the Steam controller probably won't help you much. Oh, and Dolphin does have an option called Sideways Wiimote that lets you play stuff like Super Paper Mario and Metroid Other M, God forbid, with ease. That should set you up for most conventional Wii games. Again, some games like Wii Sports and Skyward Sword were just not built for a conventional controller, and you can totally hook up a Wii Remote to your computer via Bluetooth if you want to play games like that. But for most somewhat conventional Wii games, and every GameCube game, the Steam controller works like a dream. Now go hunt down stars, you mad plumber you. I'll see you next time with PCSX2. Until then,